Welcome back to the Law Show. I'm attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the Windy City, Chicago. Forgot to mention that we are broadcasting also on the internet at thelawshow.com. Click on the Watch Live video, and you will see yours truly answering legal questions right here, right now, from high atop the Law Show studios in the Windy City, Chicago. We're going to continue answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855 Law Show, 855-529-7469. You can email your questions to questions@thelawshow.com. You can email your questions to Brian at thelawshow.com. That's BRIAN at thelawshow.com. You can text your question to keyword Law Show at 46786. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at The Law Show. And we are here to answer all your legal questions 24/7, 365. And yes, I have answered questions on Christmas Day. With the support of my lovely wife. She is a great lady. I'm very lucky to have had the opportunity to get married to her. She's brought me 3 wonderful children, and she's taken good care of my child from a prior marriage. We have 4 kids at home, and she's a great lady, and she lets me answer client calls on Christmas. I don't know how much better it could be. Call me right now at 855-529-7469. That's 855 Law Show. We're going to talk to Ryan now. Ryan, you're on the Law Show.
Yeah, how you doing?
Fine. What can we do for you, Ryan?
I wanted to know, I was calling how to collect child support in Illinois. I know it's my girlfriend I'm calling for, really. And he owes $47,000. And really, every time she calls, it's just, we're not on public aid or anything, but every time that we call, it's just a run around. It's been like for 12 years and hasn't been any movement on it at all.
Well, what do you say, Deborah?
Ryan, you need to see a lawyer right away or have your girlfriend, because you need the lawyer to go in and start collection action against her former spouse or the father of her child. If he owes all that money, let's go collect it.
So,
well, one of the things is also that we call, and I guess, I don't know if it's true or not, but you can't get a license if you owe back child support. Is that true?
That may happen, sure. There's a lot of different things they'll do, but if he's got a paycheck, you can garnish it. If he has any assets, you can make him sell them to pay. That's a lot of money for child support that child didn't get.
You know, Ryan, there are a lot of laws on the books in any one of many different states that say that if you don't do X, Y, or Z, we're going to pull your driver's license. But I'm going to ask you to think about that, okay? So if you do something that pulls this man's driver's license, then you're going to make it even more difficult for him to pay. What you want to do is you want to have a lawyer like Deborah who knows how to not threaten that, but just remind him of that could happen. And that oftentimes is going to be more than enough incentive for him to start making payments. If you would have your girlfriend and you just come in and see Debra Crane this week and sit down and talk to her about what your options are, I'm sure that she will come up with some good ideas for you, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Call her at the Law Show. That's 855-529-7469 during regular business hours, or email her, and I'll forward it to Brian at thelawshow.com, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling the Law Show. We're going to continue answering your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855 Law Show. We're going to talk to Charles now. Charles, you're on the Law Show.
Yes, hello.
What can I do for you?
I've got a problem that I know that the interest rates right now are down around 3%, I guess, in some conditions. I have filed bankruptcy about 15 months ago.
Okay.
I kept my house.
Okay.
I'm paying about $1,200 a month just on the payment, not including, the real estate tax. And at that rate of 7.35 that I'm at, I'm blowing a lot of money if I could get refinanced. However, my only income right now is my Social Security. And I was self-employed, and I made pretty good money, 6 figures, and business took a big dump, and thus I find myself with basically no income for the last 2.5 years.
Hey, what's your question for us, Charles?
My problem being, I'd like to get refinanced, but of course I'm 15 months out of a bankruptcy with no income. Is there anything you can? I thought about just not paying for the house and letting them do a foreclosure on it, but I don't want to lose the house.
Let me ask you this. When you went through the bankruptcy, did you reaffirm your debt on the house, or are you just paying it?
At this point, I am just paying it.
So you haven't reaffirmed it?
As best as I remember it, that is correct.
Okay. You may not be able to withstand the rigors of foreclosure because it sounds like you may no longer have any right to dispute the debt because you've written it off. Now, most mortgage companies will allow you to stay in the home as long as you're paying the debt, as long as you're paying what you're supposed to be paying. There's probably some things that can be done for you. There are private investors that you can contact and see if they will lend you money at a lower interest rate. Most of them are not going to do that. Most of them are going to charge a higher interest rate, okay? But there's probably something that can be done for you, but we just need to sit down and talk with you and find out exactly where you stand. Are you on Social Security disability or Social Security retirement?
Retirement.
Okay. So I need to know way more information about this. If you were to allow it to go into foreclosure, if there's some way that you can reaffirm the note right now and get a some sort of a loan modification, there may be something that can be done like that, but we'd have to sit down and talk with you about exactly what are the facts and circumstances for you.
Okay.
It's quite possible that there's something that can be done, okay?
Sure.
Well, call us if you have any other questions at 855-LAW-SHOW, okay?
Oh, okay. You want me to call and set something up for an appointment or something?
Yep. I want you to call and set up an appointment, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling the Law Show. We're going to continue answering your legal questions at 855-529-7469. We're going to talk to Spiro now. Spiro, you're on the air on the Law Show.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Spiro. How are you?
Not too good. I had a little situation.
Okay.
I was born with a little lump on my chest, on my stomach.
Okay.
And it was. I was told it was a little hernia, but it was a fatty process, and don't worry about it for now. Now I turned to 52 years old. It started getting a little bigger, and then it started hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the emergency ward, and when I went there, they told me that I had busted a hole through my abdominal wall. So they pushed it back through the hole, they said. So when I saw the doctor, I went to a doctor. I went to my own doctor, and I explained, this is getting bigger. He said it should be taken out, the lump that I had. So when I went to a doctor to have it taken out, I explained to him I had this lump for a long time, but then all of a sudden it got bigger. I went to the emergency room.
Okay.
He says, we can take care of it. We'll make it so it's flat. You won't feel the lump. Okay, it'll be totally flat. Well, he goes in, does a surgery, and he closes the abdominal wall, but he didn't take the fatty process out. So after the first surgery and having my gut stapled, I looked, and I still had the lump that I initially wanted taken out in the first place.
Okay.
He should have taken that out also. So he tells me, he says, well, you're right. Come in, we'll do you in my office locally. I says, well, no. You're going to put me out. I'm not going to do that. So he goes back in, and then he first put a needle in and tried to see if the lump was just fluid, and it wasn't. I says, you told me this thing was going to be flat. So I had to go to another surgery to get it, and then after the follow-up, he says, well, it's flat now. I'm wondering, I should have never had to go to a second surgery.
Okay.
So now I'm getting bills for a second surgery also.
Yeah, here's the deal. What you're talking about is a medical malpractice. So what medical malpractice is, it really means that you're not entitled to have the best medical care around. It only requires that you're entitled to average medical care. So what you have to do is you have to figure out if there's a doctor of similar training as the doctor you want to sue who will testify the doctor you want to sue fell below the standard of care. I don't think that you're going to be able to find that in this case. It's not an unusual circumstance when you're dealing with something as odd as a fatty process lump to try to get that right. And it doesn't sound like there's any damage over and above the cost of the additional surgery. So there's all kinds of things going here. First of all, I think it's going to be hard to get a doctor to say the doctor that did this fell below the standard of care. So that alone, you're out the door on medical malpractice. Now let's take a look at what is the economic benefit that you'd be looking for. Really, it doesn't sound like you've got any additional damages or any additional injuries or residuals or anything like that. And so it's going to be hard to collect anything over and above the cost of the surgery, which now means that you're going to be spending way more money on bringing this medical malpractice case than you'll ever be able to recoup and recover. It makes it very unworth it. However, I'm not trying to minimize, the trauma of having to go through an unnecessary surgery. I appreciate your call. We're going to go back to the few short messages. When we come back, we'll be answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855 Law Show. Stay tuned, and we will too.